Hi, I'm Mark Bunker, and we're here in downtown Clearwater, a place you should check out from time to time because there are some really decent restaurants down here and other businesses as well. The fellow who knows most about that is sitting right next to me. It's Aaron Smith-Levin.
Hi, everybody. So let's tell everybody why we wanted to do some videos
Absolutely.
here downtown.
Well, we'd like to bring a little more business down here, introduce you to some of these places, and get you comfortable coming to downtown because it's amazing how quiet this place is. And I think a lot of the reason is because of Church of Scientology's presence.
Yeah, because Scientology is the biggest property owner here in downtown, people, non-Scientologists, assume that all of these food and drink establishments down here are owned by Scientologists.
Yeah.
And ironically, that is not true. In fact, in this whole downtown area that we're sitting in right now, there is only one food and drink establishment owned by a Scientologist. And I've gotten a lot of requests to publish a list of places that are owned by Scientologists. And doing something like that makes me uncomfortable, to be perfectly honest. I'm not trying to initiate any kind of persecution against businesses owned by Scientologists. I don't think that's necessary. But we figured what would be a lighthearted alternative to that? That if me and Mark can come downtown and enjoy some food at a restaurant down here, chances are it's not owned by a Scientologist. So we had discussed doing a little series of just hanging out at different places. And so today we are at La Fondita de Leo. And this is a nice, I'm pretty sure it's a Cuban restaurant. Fantastic food, fantastic sandwiches. And this place is busy as hell on evenings and weekends. Pretty much all of downtown looks slow during the day, any day of the week. It really doesn't matter. And today, the city is setting up for what they call Blast Friday. So on the last Friday of every month, the city puts on a huge block party down here. And, 5, 10, 15,000 people might come to downtown tonight. And so this is part of what we had been discussing, is just to highlight different restaurants down here. And at the same time, we'll chit-chat about Clearwater stuff.
Yeah.
Pretty much, right?
We're chit-chatting right now.
So, you mentioned some of the places down here being boarded up. You see these places, they look like they're boarded up?
Yes.
Here's what's crazy. Those are actually occupied businesses.
They are.
Yes. One of these places is a call center. Now, if Clearwater wanted to get serious about its downtown business district, they would pass an ordinance that made it essentially illegal to rent a storefront on Cleveland Boulevard and turn it into a non-retail establishment. Yeah. One of these places right here is rented by a guy who makes YouTube videos. He makes YouTube videos about sneakers.
Okay.
And he's a Scientologist.
All right.
And he's got a pretty good following on YouTube. But it's not a business. You can't walk into it and buy something.
Yeah.
And things like that contribute to this whole district feeling dead. Because there's nothing for people to come to. There's very little for people to come to on this side of Fort Harrison. On the other side of Fort Harrison, it's packed full of restaurants and bars that anybody can go to. And that side of Fort Harrison is doing very well.
Interesting.
You see this huge storefront right here?
I do.
That used to be the one-stop shop back in the day. The old one-stop shop.
Mm-hmm.
And that storefront has been vacant for about 10 to 15 years.
Amazing.
Yeah. And there was a brewery that was working on a deal with the city of Clearwater to move in there. And Scientology, it was someone from the Office of Special Affairs, attended the meeting with the brewery and the city and literally straight up threatened them to their faces that if they moved in there, the church would do everything in their power to shut them down.
Doesn't sound like Scientology. Wait a minute. Oh, yes, it does.
And someone could say, why? Why would the church be opposed to a brewery being there? Some people think it's because Scientologists don't drink. That's not true. Scientologists drink as much as anybody else, unless they're auditing on OT7.
So what's the reason?
The reason is they do not want a magnet for... Oh, that's going to be great. They're doing sound checks. We're going to work through this. They do not want a magnet for non-Scientologists right across the street from their Coachman building. The Coachman Building is where the Sea Org members do their studying and auditing
Right.
during their study time. And the irony of it is that if a brewery did open up there, the local Scientologists would love it. The local Scientologists would love it. The local non-Scientologists would love it. The only people who doesn't love it is the Office of Special Affairs of the Church of Scientology.
So Scientology is happy to keep the place quiet and deserted.
Perfectly happy to keep it quiet and deserted.
Well, it's a shame.
Yeah.
You brought up something to me before that I thought was fascinating. You know, the people maybe being worried about being recruited into Scientology if they come down here.
Right.
And that's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen.
Why?
So, FLAG, which is the Church of Scientology here in Clearwater, is the highest level Church of Scientology. It's a Class 12 organization. And you cannot get into Scientology at FLAG. They do not want brand new public walking in off of the street, walking into one of the FLAG buildings.
I know they don't want me walking in.
Well, feel better. They don't want anybody walking in.
Okay.
Especially you, though, but, anybody. So, they, in places, people who live near churches of Scientology in regular cities like New York, Philadelphia, Los Angeles, Boston, Chicago, wherever, they are probably used to seeing Scientologists on the streets of their city with their display tables full of Dianetics books, full of e-meters, doing stress tests. Those are little teaser things they do to bring people into Scientology.
Yeah, what they call body routing.
Body routing. You've never seen that happen on the streets of Clearwater.
Yeah.
So I did a video called Why Scientology Does Not Recruit Citizens of Clearwater. And it doesn't mean that if you're a citizen of Clearwater, you are ineligible to join Scientology.
Right.
It was just meant to explain why you do not see recruitment activities occurring on the streets of Clearwater. That's why the Tampa organization is where Scientology wants people to get into Scientology. There's a Scientology mission in Bel Air, just a couple miles down the street here. That is where they want people in Clearwater to get into Scientology.
Ooh, food time.
All right, we're ready.
Oh, that looks good. I was tempted by a salad today myself. But I wound up with fries. Thank you.
Oh, could I get
Yeah, I'll bring you the
All right, cool. Oh, that was great.
Pretty good.
Yeah, so people think if they come down here, that Scientology benefits. They think Scientology wants more people to come down here, but Scientology does not want more people to come down here. So, and some of the comments I get on, the video that we're talking about, for example, was just give up. Just give up. Give up on Scientology's taking over Clearwater and it's past the point of no return and, move downtown somewhere else. I think that would be a terrible mistake. Terrible mistake. And I think if people actually do come back down here, and they do for events like the event the city's putting on tonight, they do. But a lot of the locals, if they come down to these businesses like La Fondita de Leo, there's a beautiful wine bar right here, Pour Yours. There's a Black Brick Tavern opening up just down the block. There's Clear Sky on Cleveland. There's another really nice Italian restaurant down here that we'll visit sometime soon. I think people will realize, you don't actually run into Scientology that much down here.
Yeah.
You see their buildings, you'll see a random Sea Org member walking down the street now and then, but they want to leave everyone else alone. They're going to leave you alone. So,
well, and one of the things that I think is a very big problem for Clearwater as they try to redevelop downtown. I remember back in 2000, 2001, there was a referendum as to whether the city would lease the entire downtown area to an outside developer for $1 a year. And there was a vote on that. And the citizens voted it down dramatically. And I went to a bunch of the meetings that the developers held as they tried to pitch this to Clearwater. And I found it fascinating that they weren't concerned at all about the Scientology problem. Especially at the last meeting, I asked them about a survey that had been done of Clearwater locals by the at that point the St. Petersburg guys. And in the survey, they asked people, who do you think the downtown development is going to assist? And they said, well, it's going to be for Scientologists. And that was like 67% of the people who said that. 100% of the people who were asked if it was redeveloped, would you come downtown? 100% said no.
Really?
Because of Scientology. And when you first step into downtown, it is a little creepy, especially for someone like us who, they've got cameras everywhere that follow us about. That doesn't happen for everyone. We're noted SPs. So they're looking for us. But, once you're down here, it's very comfortable.
Yeah.
I like being down here.
It's beautiful. Mm-hmm. It is absolutely beautiful. So, what makes it creepy for you? Now, obviously, you're unique. They're going to pay extra attention to you.
Right.
But, we don't have anybody watching us right now, right?
It's not creepy to me anymore.
They might be watching us through the cameras, but nobody's
sure.
Overtly watching us. What else makes it creepy?
Well, it's not creepy to me anymore.
Okay.
That was my first impression when I came here for the first time, and I had people following me. I got used to that pretty quickly after I moved here and started working at the Lisa McPherson Trust, which is just a few blocks away from where we are now, or was a few blocks away. That's now the Way to Happiness building. But I hear that a lot from people who say that it's creepy coming down here. You've got all the people walking around in the Scientology uniform. Well, there aren't that many of those Sea Org members walking around downtown anymore either.
Right.
Because everything's been consolidated into the Superpower building. And they can go right from the Fort Harrison to the Superpower building.
Yeah.
So there's far less presence of the Scientologists on the street.
It's true. So I make it a point to come down here as often as possible. And I bring the dog down here and I just walk up and down all the streets by the Scientology properties. Just to kind of, I guess it's an exercise I'm almost doing for myself. To kind of go, I am allowed here as much as anyone else. And if I can walk down the street and be comfortable, anybody should be able to walk down the street and be comfortable. And it's pretty loud.
And by the way, it was a very impressive shot of me taking a big bite. That's going to be a fan favorite right there.
Yeah. So I was down here yesterday walking behind some people. I thought it was a lunch crowd from one of the local businesses, so I thought there was a chance they were Scientologists. But as we walked by this intersection, I learned they weren't, because they were like, oh, Scientology, oh my goodness. And then they looked to the left and were like, oh, that's the big building. Oh my God, look, that's it right there. And then they were like, how do you know which buildings are Scientologies? And they said, because it's the ones with all the windows blacked out that you can't see into them. I think that's something we've come to take for granted.
Right.
That is creepy to other people.
Right.
So you refer to things like a survey where 100% of the people say, if the town was developed, I still wouldn't come downtown. And yet, when a business does open, that is obviously not owned by a Scientologist, like Clear Sky. Everyone knows Clear Sky. They've been around forever. This coffee shop, Grindhouse, Black Brick Tavern next to it's opening up, this Pour Yours wine bar, this La Fondita de Leo. They do very well. People do come down. Some of the comments on the videos where I, encourage people to come downtown. They say the businesses may not be owned by Scientologists, but the buildings they're in probably are. I gotta tell you, I just can't bring myself to care about whether a Scientologist owns a frickin' building. I mean, what do you think? Did that bother you as someone patronizing a business?
I would be worried if I was like leasing a condo from a Scientologist. I don't want them to have the keys to my place, but no, not at all.
Right.
In fact, I'm happy to go to Scientology businesses. They just don't want me in there. Back in 2000, one of my coworkers at the Lisa McPherson Trust, Jeff Jenkinson, and I went across the street to Daniela's kitchen. We just wanted to grab some lunch, and we had a nice meal. Didn't know that it was Scientologists who ran the place, but after we paid the bill and we're walking out the door, this guy came up to us and said, "All right, you guys are fine. You didn't cause any trouble, but you're not welcome here." And he just told us that we should never come back again because we were SPs.
Wow.
It's a little startling, and it's not like we were creating a scene or had protest signs or even said anything about Scientology. We're just having lunch.
Isn't that incredible?
Uh-huh.
I saw the video.
No shirts, no shoes, no SPs.
Were you the one that posted the video where you were trying to get some pizza or a soda or some water from that pizza shop?
Hi, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you.
Can I get a slice of pizza?
Yeah.
That was incredible.
I just thought it was a pizza place.
We got Scientology security in here, and they went back to talk to the manager for some reason.
Sorry, just ran out of pizza.
You ran out of pizza?
I'm sorry, yes.
Oh my God,
We sold
Dad.
4 pizza.
At 1:33 in the afternoon? How are you going to
We're
survive
out.
the rest of the
Sorry
day?
about that.
I see. Did it have anything to do with the Scientologist security guard who came
Absolutely
in here?
no.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
Okay.
It's much more believable that you ran out of pizza
Okay.
as soon as I walked through the door,
Yes.
or actually as soon as the security guard walked through the door.
Sorry about that.
I can wait till you make some more pizza.
It's fine.
Really? You don't want my business?
It's okay.
It's nuts. What would have been the harm of me having a slice of pizza? Well, maybe we should just enjoy our meal.
Good idea.
And then if we think of something else that we want to add, we can just turn it back on again.
Sounds good. Oh, wait.
What? Oh, that's right.
Mike Jr. wanted to say hi.
How about that?
So, by the time we publish this video, these might already be sold out. But if you want a Mike Jr. bobblehead, you can go to thespshop.com. All proceeds go to the Aftermath Foundation that helps people who are leaving Scientology. All right.
I've got mine. It's coming.
All right, bye for now, guys. We'll do it again soon. Bye.